Hello, and welcome to another edition of Grinding My Gears. I'm your host, Jack Esco, and today on the show we're going to talk about why in the world have they not? They need to advocate this more. Paying athletes in college. I used to be against this, now I'm 100% for it. I'll tell you why this should happen and why people are taking advantage of these players. So let's get started. I used to be against this, but now you just can't. College athletics is a multi-billion-dollar business. It's a nonprofit, and it makes so much money. Um, makes so much money, with these players, and they just take advantage of these guys. Now, I do understand some of the, it should be like a pay scale. Some get paid more than others. But you can't, you know, this is so close to being professional sports. You know, it just is. All these conference moving, and you got the makes of minor league system for football. It's They're definitely taking advantage of these players. It's definitely um, not great to see when this NCAA makes over $1 billion and uh, the players get nothing. And Shabazz was going to bed hungry. He's like, oh, and then they finally got a meal plan, and this had nothing to do with Shabazz. We were gonna do it before. Yeah, sure you were. Yeah, just happened to make news when Shabazz said he was going home hungry, and you would have done nothing about it if Shabazz kept his mouth shut. They're making money off the Big Ten network. That's oodles and oodles of money. The SEC network, which is coming soon, and that's going to be making that NCAA lots of money. This new deal that the ESPN signed for the college playoff series, like over $1 billion for 10 years, that's going right to the NCAA pocketbook. And it's just not right. You, I don't think there's any way you can be against paying athletes now when it comes to all that they do for their university and all that they. I mean, look at Johnny Manziel. I mean, he put so much into Texas A&M's pocketbook. It's ridiculous. Uh, it's the same for Tebow. Now, I'm not saying like I had said earlier, you don't play all the athletes the same, because you have your once in generational Tebow, Sanders. You have to pay those players. You also have to pay the ones that are a notch below those guys. I'll say this. You have to pay every player that makes it to the NFL draft before they hire the agent, and you see them as a good prospect. You have to pay them accordingly to what their projection is. So let's say Tebow was a fifth round projection. You give him 5,000, 10,000. You know what? That's not even fair, because he could be a fifth round projection, but for all he did for that university, I'd say at least 50,000. Now people are going to be like, "Oh, what? 50,000? That's absurd." Well, if you look at the grand theme of things, how many number 15 jerseys were sold at the University of Florida when he was there? 50,000. Isn't that crazy? I should actually say more, but a lot of you people will go off your rockers if I said 100. So I'm just going to go at a conservative 50. Manziel, he's projected to be a first rounder. He could get, up where it's at 200,000 to 100,000, and that's fair to what he produced to Texas A&M. All the number 2 jerseys that were sold, all the Johnny Footballs T-shirts, and everything like that. What makes me even you know upset more than anything else is that they have all these jerseys in universities. Now they don't have the names on them, of course, but you know what player it is. If it has 21, or if it has number 15, Tim Tebow, and the players aren't getting a lick out of it. Not one penny. That's not right. It's not right for the players. The NCAA is just profiting off these kids, and it has to stop. It has to. They have to come up with a stipend or some type of way to pay these players because they're taking advantage of these players' talents, and that's a shame. That's a shame. The NCAA can say all at once, but sooner rather than later, they will be able to play. I do think that there will be a time, sooner rather than later, that the NCAA will pay players. They will have to come to terms and decide on an amount to pay the players because it's going to happen. All this conference regulation and changes, and it's going to happen. There's too much money into it, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just yeah. So that was my rant, or what was really grinding my gears on why haven't they played college athletes. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to have another one pretty soon. So that was grinding my gears. It's been real.